I'm Clayton Bland here with CLA at the 2020 Private Wealth Summit in Orlando, Florida. We've been very happy to have Greg Valliere here with us. We just finished part of our symposium with Greg on stage talking about some recent topics as it pertains to the economy and politics. Greg, thank you for being here. I've got a couple follow-up questions if you wouldn't mind sharing with us. So give us a little recap of what you talked about from the current political environment and talk about looking into 2020. What's the likelihood of the outcome of the election?
Well, first of all, great to be here. Thank you for having me, Clayton. I think that the media has overhyped all of the Washington dysfunction. You know, you've got an impeachment that's going to end in all likelihood with the acquittal of the president. But the press needs to sell newspapers, they need ratings, so I think it's been overhyped. I think the bigger story is that the fundamentals for the markets, for investors, are still pretty good. I mean, we've got moderate economic growth, low inflation, a great labor market, steady interest rates, decent corporate earnings, and I think from a political standpoint, we've removed some big concerns like trade as an issue.
Yeah. So that's I'd say a good factual outlook. Okay, the reality is, and according to the polls, half the country is not happy about that potential outcome. So maybe talk a little bit about these candidates on the Democratic side, and what are your thoughts on who that front runner might be?
Well, first of all, I mean, Donald Trump, as of now, is the front runner. We've got a long way to go, and I don't take sides. I think that there are some things that he has that benefit him, primarily a pretty weak field of opponents right now. Joe Biden is probably the shaky front runner. We'll see if Biden has the energy, if he has the pizzazz to really take on Trump. You've got Bernie Sanders still very much in the mix with an aggressive agenda that a lot of young people like. Elizabeth Warren is still in the mix. Pete Buttigieg, who's only 38 years old, may need a little more seasoning. And then you've got the biggest wild card of all, and that's Michael Bloomberg, who is willing to spend between $2 and $3 billion to win the nomination. And I think that Bloomberg is going to spend like there's no tomorrow on a good staff, on campaign ads. So it's an interesting dynamic, and I think Trump might have to worry ultimately more about Bloomberg than anyone else.
Yeah, interesting. Well, we'll see. You mentioned Super Tuesday coming up, and a big push for Bloomberg to where we'll kind of find out if he's really a threat.
Good point. Super Tuesday is March 3rd. We've got a few before that, Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Nevada. But Super Tuesday is California, Texas, Michigan. And I think that'll be a real signal as to whether Bloomberg is a threat or not. For now, Biden is still the shaky front runner. I think the party can be happy with him. But would the party be enthusiastic about Biden?
So, Greg, one of the things that we're focused on here within CLA is certainly a large, we'll talk about two things here, but the demographic shift in the country.
Yep.
Okay, not only just change in population, but really from internally where you're seeing people transition and move, and then from external factors of immigration. Can you comment on that a little bit, what you're seeing and hearing?
What a fascinating story this is, to see the demographic changes. We're all getting older. It means our deficit's going to be even higher because of Social Security and Medicare. The country is moving. An awful lot of people who live in the New York City area are moving to Florida, Nashville, Charlotte. You're seeing that trend. You're seeing the country become more ethnically diverse as you get people from other parts of the world coming here. So it represents a challenge, but it also represents a great opportunity for investors.
Yeah. Okay, so final point, and this came up a little bit, and this is a mega trend that we've been focused on internally. A lot of people are talking about it, is this transition of wealth from the baby boomer generation to the millennials and Generation X. And it's some number north of $30 trillion. Is that, and one of the comments that was on stage was maybe there's some hidden positives to that can maybe dilute some of these near-term risks. Student debt was one of those things mentioned. What are your thoughts on how that's going to affect maybe the political climate and the economy?
I think young people need a little booster shot. They need a little help. You look at student debt levels, which are onerous for young people. You look at their inability to immediately start off buying a house or a condo, whatever. So I think this transfer of funds from an older generation to the younger one ultimately is going to be a very positive story.
Yeah, great. Greg, it was really great having you.
Enjoyed it.
Thank you very much.
Nice to see you.
Appreciate it. Yeah.